You also introduced, or we're going to introduce, a bill called Farm to Fork.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
The bill draft has just came out. I I just actually dropped it on the floor a week ago, so it'll be some committee sometime in the near future, probably the next 10 to 20 days. It'll probably come out of there. There's another competing measure up there that's coming from the Senate side. It's called the Cottage Industries Bill, which is almost an identical bill. So, getting large support even from the state agriculture department, from the business and industry side. So it looks like it, but there are some things that are competing measures that are going to be very difficult because the federal government overrides certain things. We can make laws all we want, but at the end of the day, we have to meet their guidelines. We can't be less; we can be stronger. So.
Yeah. Okay. Work zone safety.
Work in the safety zone. I just received that bill. I've actually taken it around and asked people what they think of it. I think I've told you before, it gives me some heartburn on the felony side.
Right. I think that's where most of the readers and people that I've talked to kind of broke down over that. Yeah,
and it's a very difficult, and I've tried to work the bill through the legal counsel to try to get something different. I'm not happy with the bill right now. Not getting much support on it, so in one part of him kind of says, I'm glad I'm not getting support, so if it doesn't get support, I won't drop the bill.
Okay. Distillery license is one other issue you were working on for somebody down in...
Introduced that. It's already gone through committee. Haven't been voted. You do an introduction side. Went very well. The distributors were in opposition, not because they're against the distillery, but they wanted to make sure that the three-tier system on taxation for alcohols, or make sure that that's not opened up, because it's a dangerous environment. They've got something that functions well right now, they believe, for the state, where you're taxed once for distribution, once for manufacturing, and once for sell over the counter, and each person is kind of handling their own department on that, and it's easy for taxation to follow without apparently. And so they have actually told me last Wednesday, or this past Wednesday, that they'd have me an amendment that we could discuss by Friday. I hadn't seen it by Friday when I left Friday night. So.
Okay.
But I suspect it'll be there Monday, and we'll start discussing and get that in the hands of Chairman Bob Zine, that's over Chamber or Commerce and Labor.
Okay. And I understand from talking to people here, especially in the Water District, that the changes to the Water District's charter are going well.
I don't know that they're necessarily going well. There was a lot of good questions asked.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that have to be produced for the committee. They ask for maps, and because it's discuss something without being to have a visual.
Right.
People had a concern about what's going on. There's a lot of being read in the journal that is out there. That was instigated a lot of questions and concerns because they didn't know what that meant. I can't tell you what it means either. So basically, it had to give them some concerns. So Warren Hardy is going to get all that information back to me so I can provide it to the committee for their review, and then I think it will go forward if everything meets their criteria. So.
Okay. So what other issues are you working on? That's all I can remember from what you were... what we talked about the last time. So
the opportunity for townships to have their board members elected versus being
and that would affect Bunkerville.
That would affect Bunkerville.
Okay, so instead of
Valley, Laughlin.
Yeah, instead of appointed to the town board, they would actually be elected.
Those individuals that have the desire to be on that town board could run in the same general election as all other major general elections. That if there's not enough to fill that at that time, then it leaves the board or the commission the opportunity to fill those seats.
Okay.
The discussion last time this bill was run went through the Assembly at a 42-0 in favor, went over to the Senate, and then got stuck in the desk and never come out. And it's may happen the same way again. The commission has a lot of power. So.
Yeah. Okay, any other issues?
Yeah, there's a number of others. I'm just drawing a blank right now of everything that have got cooking. There's, like I said, the prevailing wage. There's farm to
What
fork.
about Senator Hardy's proposal to drop the minimum wage? Nevada tacks on $1 more to the federal minimum wage.
I don't know where that's at.
Okay.
I don't know if it's come before review yet or not. And had an opportunity to be even heard at this time yet. Like I said, things are coming slow out of the legal counsel's office, but they've all got to be out by Monday and then dropped. Monday will be a very long day.
Yeah. Is
Not that
it
they
Monday,
all have-
March 18th? I was thinking it was April 18th.
Nope, it's Monday, March 18th.
Okay.
The committee have the following week. The special committee bills can be dropped the following week.
Okay.
The timeline is Monday, March 18th is the last they can come from this house, from our house, and then, like I said, we can drop them in the other house later on. But
Okay, so just so I'm clear, and the readers are clear, it has to come out of the Legislative Council Bureau by Monday, or it's just issues completely dead for the whole rest of the session.
any BDR will be dead.
Okay.
BDR is a non-legislative bill. It can't be
Yeah.
worked on. So it has to come out, has to be signed by a number of body members. You drop it with the clerk's office, then it goes through and it gets read on the floor,
Okay.
sent to committee. If it gets sent to committee, then it becomes a bill, assembly bill, or a Senate bill, whichever side you're coming from.
Okay.
And then it can continue to move forward. But then it has to be through second review from the other side in a certain timeline. So this date, another deadline dates will come up later on. So for
Okay.
other things. So
Okay, because there were a few hundred bills introduced.
just a few.
A few hundred.
I think it's over 1,100 and something bills, if I remember right. BDRs.
So, for which one of those said for every new law you pass, you have to unpass 2 laws?
I think it's Assemblyman Stewart is packing what we call Richard MacArthur's bill this time. I hope it can get some votes. So.
Okay, well, actually, I was only joking. I didn't know there really was one.
No, really, it's an issue.
It is.
It causes. You've got 75, I believe, legal counsel people back in those rooms just working on. And every time I want to do a correction, they kind of have to start over and look up, and they just don't draft up my language. They have to go and look back through all their case studies and everything else. It takes a lot of work for them to do it, and I'm very impressed with the effort they put into it. So,
Yeah.
and that's why there has to be a timeline. Otherwise, it would financially be devastating for us to stay there very long.
Yeah.
So be grateful for citizen governments that are 120 days long versus.
There you
year
go.
out.
I love it. What is the overall outlook for the financial picture for the state as a whole in terms of taxes? What do you see may happen in that area? And we'll take this past Mesquite. We'll take this to the state as a whole.
And that is what we're dealing with as a state. Is the governor's budget's come out? It's increased the budget over last biennium.
Okay.
So the economic foreman is looking a bit better right now. He increased, I think, school spending in K-12. I think it was close to $300 million for the biennium. He increased some other areas as much as he could, 25 and 30 million on certain things. There's those that will never be happy. It's never enough.
Right.
They want to go back and do the catch up, and you can't do that. It's just because it's been hit hard on the state, it's been hit hard on the private sector harder, I believe. So you can't go continue to tax us right now. We're in a delicate environment. The IP1 right now that was put in by the unions, teachers unions, that's going to have to come up for a vote. Yesterday there was the deadline.
Now say, what is IP?
IP1, that's the proposition vote that will come before the voters.
Okay.
Because it didn't get acted on by the body, voted down or up, so they will put it on the ballot to vote for margins tax.
Business margins
Business
tax.
margins tax.
Yeah, okay.
And it's there's only one state that's actually doing it, and they're trying to get out of it right now, Texas. It's not worked out well for them. It's one of the biggest job-killing taxes there is. Do we want to even look at something like that right now in this industry? Things are starting to slightly climb.